Hi, everybody. Here we are at another episode of From Adversity to Awakening. I'm your host, Peggy O'Neill, and I have a very special guest with me today, Rossetti. Hi, Rosemarie.
Hey there, Peggy. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So I know Rosemarie from, we've both been in the National Speakers Association, or NSA, for bazillion years, decades, and we see each other there. Rosemarie is a wheelchair user, and as you may or may not know by now, October is Disability Awareness Month. So on this podcast, we are featuring people with disabilities to talk about overcoming their challenges and how going through that process has changed their life and brought more uh, spiritual connection with others and themselves, and also more joy. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Rosemarie. I'm going to read her bio here. So Rosemarie Rossetti is a PhD and a globally recognized speaker, consultant, and author known for her expertise in resilience, accessibility, and universal design. She became a prominent figure after surviving a life changing spinal cord injury in 1998 that left her paralyzed from the waist down. Speaking from her wheelchair, she captivates audience with her resilience and actionable strategies for coping with change and adversity. Despite her challenges, she has inspired many, focusing on helping others and promoting inclusive design in public and private places. And I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Rosemarie is a trusted accessibility consultant for associations and corporations. She helps meeting professionals create inclusive experiences to accommodate people with disabilities. One of her most notable achievements is the creation of the Universal Design Living Laboratory, her home that she and her husband designed and built to be fully accessible and serve as a model for others. This is the top rated universal design home in North America. Wow, I didn't know that. Rosemarie is a motivational speaker, and she frequently shares her story and expertise at conferences and events, inspiring others to overcome adversity and to live independent life. Her work has had a profound and lasting impact on the universal design movement. She's been a tireless advocate for the rights of people with disabilities, and has worked to raise awareness about the importance of creating accessible environments. So, thank you, Rosemarie, for lending us your time. And I want to share with the audience that I just was speaking with Rosemarie, and she told me that she's actually up for an award, for a national award for a universal design. Not allowed to say too much about it. It's okay if I say that.
Well, it's
I
not
already
me
said
that's
it.
going to get the award, it's the product that I helped design. So
Yeah.
we
So,
won't know for another few weeks whether the judges select this product as the most innovative of this national convention. So it's a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't tell the audience what this product is.
but from what you just said, we know that you are brilliant in your and very universal thinking in the way that you've approached to make solutions for people with disabilities. And I love that. I mean, I think it's besides the speaking that you're also, really doing some very practical, you're creating practical solutions for people with disabilities. Love that. And also, the other thing that you told me, that you're going to be working with veterinarians. And I thought that that was really amazing because so many people with disabilities have their service dogs. So it's like an industry that could use some enlightenment about how to be more DEI and all that, and make things accessible. And I'm sure they're going to learn so much from you. So thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you. It's a privilege.
Yeah. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it was like to go from a fully abled person into being somebody who's a wheelchair user?
Yes, it was 1998 when I was on a bicycle ride with my husband. we were celebrating our third wedding anniversary when suddenly Mark heard what he thought was a gunshot, but it wasn't a gunshot at all. It was the sound of a large tree as it was falling, and I was instantly crushed by a 7,000-pound tree, followed by live power lines. So instantly paralyzed from the waist down. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I was 44 years old at the time.
Hmm.
And I had a business. I had a speaking and a training business.
Oh,
And
you were already a speaker and a trainer.
yes, I was. I had started my company in 97.
Uh-huh.
I left Ohio State University in January of 97 to
As a
start my
teacher,
own.
as a
Yeah, I was a
professor.
faculty there for
Uh-huh.
11 years, and then I left to start my speaking and training business. So it was a year and a half after I left Ohio State University, and now here I am being life flighted to a hospital for emergency surgery. A total
Did you get
adversity.
electrocuted also?
No,
Good.
fortunately not.
That's good.
It was live power and it exploded. My husband saw the big explosion, and he was very careful, and so were the people who were on the scene as they lifted the big limb off of me. And I was still attached to the bike. I had my feet in the stirrups of the
Oh
pedal. I
my,
had a helmet on. I was in a fetal position on my side, knocked unconscious. So
wow.
fortunately, a man and a woman on their bikes heard Mark screaming and rushed to his aid to assist in getting me off the bike and out of harm's way under the limb. And it was just such a coincidence. The woman happened to be a doctor in residence at the Ohio State University as a spinal cord specialist. She was on a date with her boyfriend on that same bike trail. So she led the effort to get me out from under the tree. And
And
later
she knew what she was doing.
she knew what she was doing. And later, when I was in the hospital, she came over to the hospital bedside and she goes, "Do you remember me?" And I go, "No." And she then told me that she was the woman who helped rescue me.
Well, what a serendipitous, almost like a divine intervention there that saved you probably maybe your life, right? So
Yeah.
then how was it to transition from having full mobility to being a wheelchair user? Like how was it that how did
It
that
was
challenge impact you?
it was horrific grief, loss, pain,
Mm-hmm.
doubt about wanting to live, questioning how life would go on, realizing my marriage was only 3 years and my husband was now my caregiver, and the house was not accessible.
Mm-hmm.
My business stopped. I also had a publishing company in my basement. I had to stop that too. So no income from my businesses, but fortunately I had disability income insurance. So I was getting a monthly check from that insurance policy.
Yeah, well, I doubt it was as much as your business was bringing in.
No, it was not, but at least it helped pay for my personal care attendant.
Oh,
So
good.
I couldn't be at home by myself. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get dressed. I couldn't take a shower. And then I had physical and occupational therapy to go to 3 days a week for
Wow.
2 years.
2 years.
And I
Two
wasn't
years.
driving for a whole year. So
Oh
my
my.
personal care attendant worked with me to help me at home to get me showered and dressed and then put me in her car and take me to Ohio State University 3 days a week for that year. Then finally, I got my van with hand controls and used the wheelchair and was able to drive myself over there. But it was a long process of,
A long, hard, difficult,
yeah, a long
very
process.
difficult.
And then you come home and you still do more things at home. It's not like you just do therapy a couple hours a day. No, it was like a half a day, 3 days a week for 2 years. And then come home, and Mark had to do some more work with me for strengthening and stretching. And then finally being able to go to our local gym, working with the gym personnel and my physical therapist to come up with a strategy of what could I do at the gym to continue my therapy.
Wow, that's amazing. And I want to really highlight that not only you went through transitioning from not being able to get out of bed to being able to drive a car with hand controls, but you're also a motivational speaker, which, hello, everybody, involves getting on an airplane at least once a week and in and out of airports and schlepping luggage and going in hotels and being in a lot of places that are not accessible for wheelchair users. So, I mean, hats off to you, Rosemarie. I mean, it's really amazing that not only did you, learn how to be sort of functional in your own locality, but expanded your reach and underwent lots of difficulty because of it. So
It
what
was
did,
a transition, absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
My fellow NSA members, as you mentioned, the National Speakers Association, were the ones that encouraged me to start a journal. I was not able to hold a pen and write. My hands were paralyzed at first. I couldn't feed myself. And
Wow.
so one of my friends said to Mark, bring Rosemarie a small tape recorder and let her do a little personal journal. It was like a diary. It was an audio diary. And every day while I was in the hospital, I would turn that little recorder on and talk. And I never wanted anyone to hear it. It was very private to talk about what I was thinking, what I was feeling, and what happened that day. And I continued doing that even when I came home. I continued that tape recorder. And from that, I started writing articles. I was asked to write a monthly column,
Hmm.
went to various magazines and they wanted to copy it. We put it on our website. And so it encouraged me to take what I was learning about recovery, lessons to live by. And I came up with
Beautiful.
five. And then I started speaking about the five lessons to live by and talking about each month what was happening in my life and what insights were new each month. So it challenged me to have a different mindset
Well, I
about
was
recovery.
I was just gonna say that you talked a lot about the physical body, but I'm sort of kind of I was thinking, well, what was happening between here and here
Yep.
inside of your mind? Because when we encounter limitations, a whole litany of things happen that can take us in a downward spiral.
And it was total depression, not only me, but Mark. Here he was right there. He couldn't stop it. He just said, look over there, something's falling. And it was too late. And so we both went through counseling for a full year. The counselor came to our home because her office was not wheelchair accessible. And
Hmm.
so for a full year, she would come one day a week working with us on the depression and the grief and trying to get over
And the
the
loss.
loss.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, it sounds, I'm a trauma therapist. So just to have, to be working with the actual incident and all of the things that come up in your mind when you go through loss and limitation and having someone help you, it's so important than just sort of so many people compartmentalize that experience. They push it away, many times forgotten. And then all that stuck energy is in the body that limits our capacity to grow and mature and deal with situations in a mature way. I've always wondered how you became just so incredibly awesome. And I understand a little bit about that now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to give credit to my husband. He's Mr. Wonderful. He never, ever thought of leaving me. He was always there to do whatever it needed, whatever it took to
Well,
be a supportive husband on the front end and on the back end. He wasn't trained to be a caregiver, of course. So we had a lot of doctors and nurses helping him to understand what he needed to do to care
hmm
for me
hmm
and how he was going to deal with now working full time going to work and dealing with his grief, and then trying to figure out when he came home and the caregiver left, there's a lot of things that I needed him to do around the house, around the
Sure.
yard. I had a huge to-do list when he came
Yeah,
home.
for sure. There's dishes, there's laundry, there's groceries, there's putting away, there's cleaning up, there's puffing the pillows. It just like never ends, right? Let's have a little break. I wanted to share with you about an incredible stress busting tool that I created called Tap for Joy. And it incorporates acupressure tapping, you may have heard of it, NLP, neuro linguistic programming, hypnosis, and somatic awareness into this mighty mouse of an app that can reduce stress and increase happiness. Check it out at Tap for Joy in the Apple Store, Tap for Joy, or an explainer video at tapforjoyapp.com. It will help you to come to center, reduce stress, have a better mood, be more amicable, boost your immune system, deal with past trauma, all kinds of things. There's also an upgrade you can get with lots of cool features. So check out Tap for Joy and tap your way to joy today. So let's get back to the interview now. So, good choice on a marriage partner because love and care are often equated. So beautiful that he could, that when times got tough, his character sort of rose to the occasion, and the best he was able to work with the challenge. A lot of people fall short of that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, or when people have that's very common when a couple has a disabled child that one of the partners will end up exiting stage left, right? So, what did happen between there and there? What was that like for you? And whatever you want to share, like how was that challenge?
Well, the disability, of course, got better through time. The
Mm-hmm.
healing continued, and I was able to write. I was able to dry my hair. I was able to shower. I started going to therapy and was doing something new every day with the therapist. So I
Great,
started seeing progress. And I
good.
have a tremendous group of friends and a big family. And of course, the NSA members that constantly were there by my side, sending me books and
Nice
the people that sent flowers to the hospital room. I mean, I was surrounded by family and friends and neighbors
and
that all
love
came to elevate me. It's like, and reading a book called Man's Search for Meaning, that was a big turning point. It
is
was by
an
Viktor
amazing book.
Frankl, a survivor of the German concentration camp. Someone had recommended it. Mark just happened to have a copy in the basement. He
Love
had
that
read
book.
it in high school, and it really helped me turn my sense of depression into a sense of what is the meaning of life. And it's all about love. It's all about the people. If I loved my family and friends and my husband, then I had
And
to get through
yourself,
this.
and yourself,
And myself.
and then what? And
And
then
so it turned me around to
yeah,
say,
yeah.
I've got to get better because they all depend on me. My mother was in her 80s. She
Mm-hmm.
depended on me to
Mm-hmm.
help take care of her and as
Yes,
she was aging. And of
yes,
course, my husband of only 3 years, it would just devastate him if I ended my life.
yeah. Very good. Well, I love that. And several other people in this interview have given that testimony as well. In that book, one of the things that I found so remarkable is that this person who had lost everything, and he's probably eating crumbs and half a cup of water a day and can't have any communication with any of his buddies and makes the tapping thing and all that stuff. That part for me of that book that was so impactful was when he made the recognition that you can take away all of these things from me, but you can't take my dignity. You can't take that I'm a whole human being. That cannot be altered. And that's what between here and here, that was what he used to overcome his challenge. And live long enough to tell the story. And that book has had some impact on so many people's lives. I'm glad that you brought it up. It's a beautiful book. The title of it again is?
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Yeah, thank you. In case somebody missed it before. So, okay, so you got through, you did you had to show up for all the people that were uh, putting the love on you, um, and I'm curious before I go on, before I forget, who is the person in NSA that sent you the notice about making the tape recording?
That was Winnie Airy, one of my mastermind members who actually came to the hospital. So there were a few of them that actually came together to see me and have lunch with me. And
Nice.
she's the one that said to Mark, go get her a small tape recorder.
Beautiful. I don't think I know her. So anyway, I love her though, and I love that she had you to start processing it instead of leaving it and hiding it away. So that was great.
Yeah. And
So
those
then,
articles led to a book because I had so many articles every month.
uh-huh,
Somebody said, well, why don't you put those into a book? And I said, I should. So I had so many articles, I sent them out to a committee to read them. And I said, I want you to pick the best ones. I'm
uh-huh,
going to put 20 of them in a book called Take Back Your Life, Regaining Your Footing After Life Throws You a Curve. And so the committee came up with what they felt were the strongest. We decided what order they should be in. And then I hired an editor so that we would take the redundancy out of some of the articles so
right.
that it would read like a book. And it
Yeah, yeah.
starts on the bike trail and then it ends on the second anniversary of the injury back on the bike trail in my new bike.
On your new bike, you ride a bike?
I ride a three-wheeled recumbent bike, and on the second anniversary of my injury, I was back on that bike trail.
What's recumbent?
Recumbent is a type of bike that you're sitting in. You're not in an upright position, but you're in a laying down type of position. And this is a three-wheel bike. It has two wheels in the front and one in the back.
Yes.
And at the time, I was wearing an ankle foot orthotic on both legs. And then I had Velcro that was used to keep my feet on the bike pedal. Since then, I have changed to having bike shoes with the clamps, and then I just clamp those onto the bike pedals. And I
And
still have that bike. I've
and then
used it ever since 2000.
what propels the bike?
Me, my legs.
Your legs.
Yes. My legs came back into the thighs are very strong. And the bike has different gearing. I can't go up hills without Mark helping me push it, but
Uh-huh.
I can go on all the bike trails that are flat.
Great.
We,
I'm just looking into getting a bike. I mean, I rode a bike as a kid and I had a bike for a long time. And then I stopped riding bikes when I lived up at the top of this big hill. But they make adaptive bikes for little people now. Electric bikes, I'm sorry. They make it electric adaptive bike. So I'm in the process of purchasing one of those, hopefully before the snow comes. Anyway, so it sounds like your ability to work through the challenge impacted not just the fact that you wrote articles and made a book, but also that you went on to becoming a speaker. So tell us about that process, how you even had the thought to become go to the National Speakers Association and start traveling and doing all that crazy stuff.
well, I was a member of the National Speakers
Oh, you were.
Association
Uh-huh.
prior to the injury.
Oh, I didn't know
And,
that.
and so I had been going to the convention, and then
Mhm.
after the injury, it was a long time until I could go back
Yeah.
and have the ability to go back in a wheelchair. So it took a long time.
Yeah. I joined in 1999, so I didn't know you as a walking
No,
person.
I wouldn't have come back that soon
No, but and I remember seeing you a few years later.
in a wheelchair. You never knew me before my injury.
No, I didn't, and then I
Mm-mm.
didn't know you for a few years after. And you
Mhm.
were always in a beautiful red suit and perfectly poised and in such a positive mindset. It was always such a lovely thing to meet you.
Well, same here.
Thank you. So, will you tell us a little bit about how all of the expansion of your outreach and expansion of your life and helping people. Well, I guess the question is, how did overcoming the challenge help you to feel more connected to nature, to yourself, to God, to, whatever?
Boy, those are big questions,
I
Peggy.
know.
I could talk for an hour on those, but let's just start with one. I am in my home right now. I am in my home office, and you can see the background. You can also take a virtual tour of our home. It is a national model of universal design and accessible design. It is the top rated universal design home in North America. It has,
Get mine on there and make a little competition with you, girlie.
yeah, so go to udll.com,
What is it?
udll.com, udll.com.
Okay.
Stands for the Universal Design Living Laboratory. It's just those four letters.
Yeah.
You can see our house. You can take a virtual tour anytime. You
Great.
can download free a chapter of my book, The Universal Design Toolkit, and it has all the universal design features in our home, room by room. And when you're taking the virtual tour, you can play a game because on the day the videographer was here, our cat was roaming around and he said, just let her roam around. She's a little short-haired orange cat. And so you will see our cat Kiko throughout the house as the
How
photo bomber.
nice, nice, nice. I'm really curious because, I told you when we were talking earlier that I have had my house accessibilityized. I've had it adapted so that, however, I'm not in a wheelchair. So I can't wait to see some of the things that you've done.
Yes, and it's universal design. My husband's 6'4". I am 4'2" as a seated person.
Yes,
So it had to be accommodating
yes,
everyone. And
yes.
we've lived here 13 years. We built it. We helped design it. We had a whole team that worked with us. It was a huge project. We had over 200 sponsoring companies and hundreds of volunteers.
Oh my God. What?
So it was a long, long process. It took 32 months to build it. We'll never build another one. We never had built one before. And it was just a Herculean project that took forever to get the construction loan, to buy the lot, to figure out who the architect was going to be, the interior design team, and all the products that we selected to be on the house and
Mhm.
to get all these sponsors to either give them to us at no cost or at low cost.
I wonder if you have the favorite thing that I have in my house is something called um it's a rotating pantry and it's made by a company called Storage Motion
No, don't
or
have that.
storagemotion.com and I push a button and the shelves move. So I never have to get on a stool. I never have to move the groceries, one way or the
Great.
other. It's an amazing thing. I'm gonna send you a link about it. You might want to add it to your repertoire there. So, okay. So tell me how. So we were talking. I asked you about connection, and you started to tell me about your house.
Hmm.
Anything else?
Well, the business expanded.
Yes.
Amazing. I
Yes.
started working as a speaker about accessible and universal design
Uh-huh.
and became involved with the Global Universal Design Commission, where I am now evaluating corporations all over the world, looking at videos of these corporate offices to determine if we're going to certify them as universal design. So that's
Beautiful.
a project I'm working on this week. I have three different corporations in other countries. I'll be watching those videos. But I look at a lot of built environments. I evaluate hotels, museums, zoos, botanical gardens, convention centers. So I've been asked to go to a lot of different places in associations that are having conventions. Will have me do site visits with them.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm also working with destination marketing organizations such as visit Denver or experience Columbus or the Palm
Uh-huh.
Beaches or visit Loudon, and helping them to promote and improve the accessibility of their cities, helping them with their websites to make sure that they have an accessibility landing page, and helping them with their marketing so that those
So
cities are being more aware of what they need to do. And each of the locations I visit, I then write an article about those zoos and museums,
you
and
do.
I give feedback to let them
Awesome.
know what things they need to do to improve.
Beautiful. Hey, let's have a little break. And I wanted to share with you about one of my superpowers, which is helping people get through really tough stresses, difficulties, issues, and even trauma or traumas. Lots of people have worked with other people and said, I couldn't break through, but with you, I could. And not only do I help you like get to breakthrough, but also help you to pull back the layers of stress, melt the ice of frozen energy inside of you, and give you access to the beautiful ocean of creative intelligence that's inside of you and all its qualities like strength, courage, wisdom, joy, laughter, and compassion, etc. So chatwithpeggy.us is my scheduling, and sign up for a discovery call. You can work with me one-on-one on the phone, Zoom, in person over time, or come to my hometown for a weekend intensive. I look forward to working with you that way if your heart is so drawn. So I guess we could say that you have connected with many people, many places, and had a very high level of impact, especially for people with disabilities that then go to Utah, that go to a conference, that go to a hotel, et cetera, et cetera. So such an amazing impact that you're
Yep.
bringing in the world. So when you were saying all that, the question came up in my mind. Did you ever dream that this limitation that you incurred would expand you to being such a serious influencer?
No, no, no way. People send me emails all the time or call me, just referrals, people that were in my audience, people that just Googled my title as accessibility consultant. I just ask them, how'd you find me? And then they have these incredible projects. And sometimes they're hard and they're like, this is going to take me a while to figure this one out, but I
Yeah,
take them. I say, do the hard stuff. This helps me to learn more about the disability community. I know a lot about mobility, but I don't know a lot about little people. I don't know a lot about blind people or people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
yeah,
But I write articles for the Ohio Hotel and Lodging Association. My newest one just came out this week, and it's all about the steps hotels can take to serve the blind community and low vision. I
very
didn't know
cool.
anything about that. I had to interview some people
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
and understand some of the technology and that's out there to serve the blind
uh-huh.
community. So
So
it's very interesting what comes across to communicate to me, can you do this? And I don't know that I've ever said no. I just say, I'll figure this out. I'll interview people.
I
I'll
love
go
it.
visit places.
I love
And
it.
I learn more about the Americans with Disabilities Act and the people who are the pros at evaluating for accessibility.
Beautiful. Oh gosh, I just lost my thought. Um, well, your outreach, your impact is just, I bet, yeah, I mean, it's just phenomenal. And I'm trying to still recall what it was that I want to ask you, but it's still not coming up.
All
So,
right, let me tell you another thing.
yeah,
This house has tours. We've had 3,600 people in person so far
really?
visiting our home. These are realtors, these are people with disabilities, these are interior designers, these are architects, these are builders. We have a classroom in the lower level that holds 22 people. So we have business retreats here. We have the political leaders of the state of Ohio here. We have lots of realtors here for continuing education credit. Sometimes I do the teaching, sometimes other people come and do the teaching. So we allow people to use our classroom for specific purposes to benefit universal and accessible design.
Well, Rosemary, I am glad that you recognize that love was the force of our existence and that you held on to that and that you have grown and expanded and implemented so many amazing channels and ways for people to learn about accessibility and universal design, etc. And thank you so much for all of your work. I mean, it's phenomenal. How do you feel like that all that work that you've done and all the people that you've reached and all the influence that you've had, has it had an impact on your level of joy and satisfaction in life?
Yeah, every day something makes my day. And the other day, the mail came with a thank you card from 6 physical therapy students that were here to interview me and to do a tour from Ohio State University. And each of them wrote about a paragraph on this thank you card in
Uh-huh.
terms of the impact that spending a couple hours with me had,
Yeah.
motivating them to understand why they chose the profession of physical therapy. And that card, I've actually put some of the card on Facebook and LinkedIn. I was just so taken by what these students had written on the card. I just can't part with it. It's still here on my desk. It's like I'm going to show my physical therapist. I still go to physical therapy because I'm aging with a disability and I want to
Right,
protect my
right,
shoulder,
right,
especially.
right. Yeah, because
And so
reaching is such a
it's
big deal.
important. As I use
Yeah.
a manual wheelchair, there's a lot of stress on that shoulder. And as I travel now, I was speaking in Las Vegas last week from my scooter, and I very rarely am on a stage with the scooter. But if you've ever been to Las Vegas, that is a huge convention center and huge casinos and hotels.
You
And
have to have a scooter there. I
you
mean,
have to have a scooter. You can't possibly do it in a manual wheelchair.
no.
So
And
I
you're still
decided,
using are you still using a manual wheelchair?
yeah, I have a manual wheelchair that I use at home and I use in the local community, of course. But if I'm going to anywhere flying, I'm going to have either my client renting me a scooter or if Mark's with me, we'll take our folding scooter with
What about
us.
having a electric um wheelchair?
No, at this point, the scooter is a preferred method.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I've got someone coming this week to show me a new product that just came out from the Sunrise medical equipment. They're actually going to bring a demo. It attaches to my manual wheelchair, but it's a motorized device with a battery. And so I will be steering it and propelling my manual wheelchair with this device. I haven't
Beautiful.
seen it in person yet, so I
Yeah.
can't describe it. I've only seen pictures of it, and the medical dealer and representative from Sunrise are coming here next week to actually bring it, attach it to my wheelchair, and see if I like it, because it'd be a lot easier than carrying that scooter around, especially when you're in an Uber. I mean, that's
For
a lot of
sure.
work, but I
Yeah.
don't know what this is going to be like if I'll find it is as convenient as a scooter. When I travel, I have a big backpack and I put it on
Mhm.
the floor of the scooter.
Mhm.
Having a big backpack on the back of my wheelchair is just not that convenient. I
Well,
can't
you
reach
can't get to
things.
it. It's like I carry a purse on my shoulder rather than a backpack because I can't get my phone and my wallet and all that stuff. I have to take it
Yep.
off and put it down on something. So I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they're probably going to ask you if you like it to be the spokesperson for their product.
Oh no.
Everybody knows you. So that's going to be awesome. So, oh my gosh, it sounds like yeah, that having the spirit and the inner strength and the recognition of love is what our existence is about. All of those things and many, many more, the support of your husband, your family, etc., all those things that has brought you to a life that is deeply meaningful, purposeful, and fulfilling. So
That's a
Really,
good summary. Thank you for
really,
reminding me.
really happy for you, and really, hoping to make that people that are dealing with any sort of limitation, whether it's losing a tooth or you can't raise your arm or you can't see as well as you used to or whatever it is, you get cold more often, like, little things that go with aging, that you can take a bit, just a small bit of Rosemary's spirit and her message. Would you share with us the five lessons for full living? I'm not sure
Sure.
exactly what the title of
Well,
it
the
was.
first one's do something new every day. And I learned that in physical therapy as I would go to physical and occupational therapy 3 days a week for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
I would constantly ask them, what are we going to do new today?
Hmm.
Was it about me being able to put on my own socks and shoes? Was it to be able to learn how to use a wheelchair to get up a curb? Was it going to be walking with a walker for the first time and how far I would go? Or being in a swimming pool with parallel bars and standing there and tossing a ball. I mean, every time I would appear somewhere in therapy, I would say, what are we going to do new today? So that was the first one. The next one is focusing on a hopeful future, not on your self-pity. And I learned that from Christopher Reeve a year before my injury. I was
Mm.
in his audience and he taught me that lesson.
He was in his wheelchair.
He was in his wheelchair. I was not. I was
Uh-huh.
just there a year
Yeah.
before my injury.
Uh-huh.
The next one is believe the impossible is just likely possible. And that's when I started seeing my body recovering and started learning how to bike, how to ski, how to kayak. I never thought that I'd ever be doing those things ever again. But the adaptive sports connection started helping me and bringing equipment and showing me I could do these things.
Beautiful.
The other is having more patience with yourself, allowing more time. I
Yeah.
realized that doing a load of laundry was going to take a lot longer, and preparing a meal or getting dressed or getting a shower.
Yeah.
That patience had to be the acceptance of how it was for now, that
Yes.
later it might get better.
Beautiful.
And then the last one I learned from Mark, you have to lower your expectations of other people to lower your stress. I was asking Mark to do much too much, and
Mm.
then I would be stressed, he would be stressed. I had to stop and say, he can't do it all. So let's just let him have some slack. There's only so much he can do to help me.
My heart is so full listening to the wisdom and the success of your life, Rosemarie. I'm really touched. Thank you so much for sharing with our audience and sharing with me. Anybody who wants to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
It's very easy. My website is rosemariespeaks.com, and my email, you could imagine, Rosemarie at rosemariespeaks.com. So it's very easy to send me an email. Of course, you can always go to udll.com and see our house and
Great.
all the articles and videos. YouTube, I've got my own channel. So if you want to watch some of my previous performances, interviews, podcasts, they're there.
Great. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to be looking at your house very soon. And is there a last message, anything else that you want to share with the audience?
I do. During the pandemic, I was on a webinar and it was from Donald Miller, another NSA person, and he was talking about be relentlessly optimistic. And that stuck with me during the pandemic. I wrote it on a little sheet of paper, and that little sheet of paper is still here on my desk. Be
Beautiful.
relentlessly optimistic. So that's how I live every day.
And look at where it has brought you and look at the impact that you're having in life. It's just really phenomenal. I wish, when Prince died, all the buildings in the major buildings across the planet put purple light on their most famous buildings. And I thought to myself, what an incredible impact this person has had on the entire world. And I sort of feel that way about you because we don't know your favorite color. Maybe we should know. Yeah.
Just a person trying to make a significant positive difference in the lives of others.
But relentless optimism is like the way to go. I mean, I feel like that's been for me too. And then my limitations are different than yours. But I mean, I scuba dive and have flown around in one of those kites up in the air and bicycled through Japan. I told you that just a
Mhm.
couple 2 years ago, and lots of other things, and have enjoyed such a rich life. So, and because of relentless optimism, and because of that phrase, four most powerful words in the English language, I can do it. Yeah, so thank you so much, Rosemarie, and I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Peggy. It's been
Yeah.
an honor to be on your podcast.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Stay tuned for next week. I don't know who's going to be there, but it'll be featuring another person with a disability since it's Disability Awareness Month. Everybody have a great moment to moment experience, and I will see you soon. Well, thanks for being a fan of the podcast, and I would love if you would subscribe. Also, wanted to remind you about that mighty little app, Tap for Joy, and share with you about the amazing features for just $5 a month, like a no brainer, right? You're going to get some amazing tools for decreasing stress and increasing happiness, like a happy memory journal, which rewires your brain for happiness. You're going to get a bunch of customized tapping dialogues, which pinpoint and target your stress areas, a learn center, a bunch of other stuff, and a 5-day challenge. Highly recommend that for getting the most out of your results for decreasing stress and increasing happiness. So check out Tap for Joy, download it now in the Apple Store, try it out. You'll be surprised and amazed at how amazing it is, how remarkable it is, and how transforming it is. And I will see you on the next episode. So long for now.